Remember when people thought that the Snyder Cut didn't exist and that fans were being pitiful and should accept the failure that was the Justice League? And then confirmations, tweets and news of Zack Snyder being given money to complete the rest of the movie, which then changed people from saying it doesn't exist to it's not going to be good anyway, it's going to be the same. Fast forward, the movie came out, blew people away, at least most people. The amount of character development and dialogue change, which was as a result of Joss Whedon doing reshoots, changing and writing different dialogues for the actors. And even after that success, WB still refused to disclose the amount made by the movie. Crazy, right? I just can't believe that we are now celebrating 1 year since the global phenomenon that is the Zack Snyder's Justice League. Anyway, to celebrate this amazing movie, I decided to make a list of the top 10 moments from the movie. Obviously, there's more than 10, so maybe there will be a part 2 or part 3 or more to this video. Without any further delays, let's get to the video. Starting with number 10, we have the extended Amazon fight. Yes, this fight was in the Justice League. Yes, it did have the same ending, but when you watch this fight from the 2017's disaster and the Snyder Cut, the difference is like night and day. The fight feels more insane and brutal. We get to see more shots of Steppenwolf in the form he was supposed to be in before it was changed, and just completely destroy the Amazons. I mean, they were dying. You knew and you watched this fight and say like, damn, he's really killing these people. Unlike the Justice League, which felt like he was just hitting them around and that was it. The effects and the lightning around his axe, spiky ammo, I mean, the whole thing, there was more of a struggle and effort from the Amazons to stop Steppenwolf in this bloody fight. Number 9, we have the Mother Box's backstory. To think that Darkseid was to be introduced in this film, our first live action Darkseid, and it never happened. That is just a crime on its own. In the 2017 version, we got Steppenwolf invading Earth and his mission just wasn't clear enough. Like, the motivation behind him was just like a typical villain who just came to collect boxes and destroy the world. That was it. But in the Snyder Cut version, we got the big bad himself, the Omega beamed villain invading Earth. The scene was shot different with a lot more action and just pure chaos. The scenes were a little bit longer too to give a certain pacing to the action. Overall, this scene was our first time seeing Darkseid and his brutality and his defeat, because at this point in time he was not yet really Darkseid per the story. Seeing him was a near perfect introduction. Next up, we have Black Suit Superman. I can't believe that Joss Whedon decided that Superman's resurrection, which is always accompanied by him putting on his iconic black suit, I mean in most comics, didn't make sense to him and decided to scrap it. With the Snyder Cut, we finally got to see the reign of Superman's black suit on the big screen and see Superman kick ass while looking amazing in it. Even people who are not the biggest fan of Superman were sent chills down their entire body. After Superman's resurrection and fight with the League, he goes home with Lois as he's a bit confused. I mean, dying and coming back will do that to you. While the League were having a little hard time with Steppenwolf and him about to hack Cyborg with his axe, the Man of Steel steps in his black suit and then proceeds to beat the living daylight out of Steppenwolf, to a point where people even felt bad for the alien. This entrance was crazy, and it goes to show that even though the Justice League might do well on their own, they still need Superman. Coming up, we have Cyborg's origin. Now thinking about it, I can't believe there was a whole backstory of Cyborg in the original movie, and Joss came in and took it out and felt like it didn't contribute to the story. Like, what? The original cut gave us a rushed Cyborg who felt like he was just there if needed. But in the Snyder Cut, we were given the human Victor Stone who lost his mother and about half of him due to the accident, and his complicated relationship with his father and how it is slowly restored in the course of the movie. It was just a delight to see. It was a healing journey for his character in this movie, and as Snyder said himself, he was the heart of the movie. And now coming up, we have the nightmare scene. One of the biggest highlights of this film was the nightmare scene, which was teased first in BVS and then when Cyborg connected to the Mother Box. We see an apocalyptic Earth that comes about after Lois Lane is killed and Superman goes full rage mode. And it was all being manipulated by Darkseid. And the crazy thing is that some of these heroes and villains have to team up in order to at least have a chance of saving the world. You have the Joker, and him finally having an interaction with Batman in the DCEU. You have Deathstroke, another villain of Batman, someone he would have fought with in his own solo movie which never came about. I hope they fix that soon. And then we have Flash, and we have Cyborg, and then Mera. This was supposed to set up Justice League 2 and go into 3, but sadly WB just effed it all up. And now we have Darkseid. If you watch the 2017 version of the Justice League, you will notice that there's not much plot going on out there. The motivation of Steppenwolf was just a laughable excuse for a villain, and as we all knew, he was someone under Darkseid, so why wasn't he ever mentioned? It turned out that he was meant to be in the movie all along, but was cut, which means that part of the story of Steppenwolf was also thrown down the window. With the Snyder Cut, we finally got a menacing destroyer and Lord of Apocalypse on his quest to get the anti-life equation and dominate all existence, and the relationship Steppenwolf had with the big bad, which drove him to his mission, and the need to please his master and be welcomed back into their twisted family. And I have to say, Ray Porter absolutely did a fantastic job voicing Darkseid.
As nullified by Zack Snyder's Justice League, I will stride across their broken cases.
When you hear him, that menacing, deep, dark voice, you know that this guy is not to be messed with. All these little plot points and Darkseid was all leading up to the confrontation with the League in Part 2 and Part 3 and the film that Zack Snyder envisioned. But at least we got our first live-action Darkseid. Up next, we have the Flash's epic run. In the Justice League 2017's version, the Flash is portrayed as this timid speedster who doesn't know what he's doing. Basically, he's just there to be a comedic relief and played little to no importance in that movie. Like, his only highlight was charging the mother box and then resurrecting Superman with it. In the Snyder Cut though, he had more things to do. He saved hostages when they all met Steppenwolf, I think for the first time or so. And then when he supercharged the mother box, and the most important of all, he saved the whole world. Even the League didn't know about it. That shot of him, the slow motion, the motivation behind him believing in himself and his power and turning back time, the effects, the speed force, man, that is what we call epic.
Faster than the speed of light, far beyond the speed of light. You gotta break the rule, Barry, and you gotta do it now.
And at number 2, we have Superman's resurrection and fight with the Justice League. We all knew this was coming when he died in BVS. It is part of Superman's arc. Though we saw it coming, it was still epic nonetheless. This group of heroes agreeing that they need Superman, especially Batman, who is just full of regrets and has had a change of heart after his encounter with Soup in BVS, and him understanding and trusting this godlike being who's also good and willing to sacrifice himself to save humanity. But right after coming back, our Superman is confused and disoriented, and one thing led to another, and he and the League engaged in a fight. I don't know whether to call this a fight even. I don't think the League were going all out, but like he really beat them, like let's be honest. He was like an unstoppable force, taking attacks and dishing them even more effectively himself. People didn't understand why he was this powerful after he just resurrected, but remember, he was resurrected with the mother box, which has energy big enough to reshape an entire planet. And I don't want to say infinite energy, but just something closer to that.
They're change machines. They rearrange matter at the will of their masters, regenerate, reinstate. The box has the power to reinstate anterior particle relationships.
At that point, Superman was just given a huge boost in power, and also at that point, Superman's consciousness is barely there, and if you know Superman, you know he holds back a lot during fights. And as you can see in this scenario, he wasn't chained anymore. Now lastly, we have the final battle. Everything, or shall I say, most of the things leading to this final battle was greatly built up. We understood the intentions of Steppenwolf and the consequences that the Earth will suffer from if he ever completed his mission. The action was great, each hero having their own moment. The craziness and the epicness doesn't end there, as they kill Steppenwolf and set his head flying inside the portal that just opened, and we finally see Darkseid facing the Justice League, each staring at each other. Like, this was just monumental. Like, we see Superman, Flash, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman all staring at this superimposing dark figure, the inevitable battle that was yet to come. This was 1,000 times better than whatever ending that we got with Steppenwolf in the other movie.
This cannot be. You recognize that smell? Fear.
I just can't believe fans had to fight for this. At the end, our heroes stand together, admiring the world that they had just saved. This, for a lack of better words, was sublime. And that's it for the video. As I said in the intro, there are more than 10 scenes, and if this video does well, I'll be inclined to make part 2 or even part 3. Anyway, do let me know in the comments below what you thought of this movie and what were your top 10 favorite moments in the film. Leave a like for the video if you enjoyed it. It helps the channel out, and subscribe also for more video updates. As always, SNYDER-VERSE here. See you in the next video.